what is up, you guys? My name is Vass Carter, and welcome to some top-tier Alabama gameplay. The Coffin of Andy and Lele is a game where you get to oversee and control a pair of mentally deranged, morally bankrupt, and possibly cannibalistic Habsburg descendants. We begin our journey playing as the female half of this incest duo, Ashley. We wake up and find ourselves role-playing an average person in the Soviet Union. Our first mission is to find food. In terms of food, we have no food. Instead, all we have is water and, Searching through the trash like a gross raccoon, we find a certainly expired can of tomatoes. After having a verbal sparring match with our brother, we cook the tomatoes and have a boring-ass meal. While eating our last bit of normal food, our eardrums are assaulted by our loud-ass neighbor, who's trying to summon Cthulhu. Or something, I don't fucking know. I'm not much of a demonologist. Oh well. Back to starving in our Soviet bloc apartment. After watching the TV and getting a flashback, we now see that we are in a Soviet bloc apartment under quarantine, and in true Soviet fashion, we no longer are required to receive the limited food supply rations. So we are left to die like a gulag prisoner. Not in the fancy gets shot kind of way, more like the slowly starve to death kind of way. A few days pass, and we once more hear our annoying cult member cranking up his favorite tunes. And against all odds, our neighbor did it. He summoned a real honest demon. I wonder what type of deal he will make with this horrid, and he's dead. Wow. Brilliant. Out fucking stand. Gentlemen, it is time to LARP. We shall now go from a starving Soviet to stuck in the Rocky Mountains on the Oregon Trail. Before us lay the body of the dumbass genius cultist that we called our neighbor. We have some options ahead of us. Do we, A, leave our neighbor to rot, B, alert the local commissar of the terrible thing that happened, then get put in jail or shot for murder, because a demon killing him isn't likely to fly in court? Or C, consume the flesh to satiate our primal, antisocial, starvation-ridden brains? If you chose A, you're fucking wrong. We rip him to shreds and stuff the meat into the freezer. But good on you for not immediately being consumed by the insatiable need to feed. Way to go, superstar. After cooking up good old cultist Pete, we had another schizo flashback, where we realized this dynamic duo has a history of being absolute fucking little monsters. After awakening from the sins of our past, we see a normal Alabama interaction transpire, and drift back off to Sleepyland. Once we awake for real, we immediately set out to figure out what the actual fuck our neighbor was trying to do. Obviously he was trying to summon a demon, but unless he was the most suicidal cultist ever, he failed miserably. Taking a little read into his mystical book of secrets, we find out that that poor bastard failed to give the demon an offering. After essentially skimming over a book with faulty information that clearly has real lethal consequences if done incorrectly, we decide to put this demon summoning circle back together. While in the middle of doing some amateur demon fuckery, the local commissar decides to, for once, check up on the neighbor that is now in our stomachs, or in the freezer. Turning into a housemaid, we try to clean up the scene of our depraved actions, and somehow, without much effort, manage to get it all cleaned up. Without a drop of bleach, before Comrade Shitstain walks in. We, luckily enough, were able to hide in the closet before he entered the room. Now, hopefully he doesn't... Bruh. Why did Fuckface decide to immediately check the damn closet? Like, why? What type of x-ray bullshit is that? Well, hot damn. Andrew coming in clutch with that fatality. Dare I say, brutality. After some friendly bickering, we shift our attention to the more pressing issue. Escape! After brutally murdering the local commissar, we came to the realization that we would most certainly need to leave this god-awful gulag as soon as possible in order to escape the consequences of our actions. Our first step would be to unlock the lower floors. We are on the 4th floor. We need to get down to at least the 2nd floor. The dead commissar on the floor over there had the key to the 3rd floor. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, however. After checking out the commissar's office, we see that there is another one patrolling the 2nd floor. And unlike the poor meatbag on the floor in the room, this particular commissar is strapped and ready to deal with any peaceful protesters that dare cross his path. But that's a problem for future us. The now us are heading down to the 3rd floor to explore and exploit, and hopefully not murder. Maybe. Arriving to the 3rd floor, we see a door that's oddly enough not barred like the other ones. Thinking, fuck it. We enter the unbarred apartment and are met with a fucked up, woman, who after picking up some context clues, has been getting some special treatment in exchange for some special treatment. Hatching a truly mischievous plan, we would use the walkie-talkie we acquired from the unfortunate commissar to lure the 2nd commissar, that has the gun, with talks of backroom deals, to our satanic fuckery circle, to then offer his soul and make him know how it feels to chew 5 gum.
How it feels to chew 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
The plan goes flawlessly, somehow. And we're returned to the random chick's apartment to find that our brother murdered her. And possibly blasted her.
And pelvic thrust.
While we were off selling souls. Some top tier diplomacy happens, and we set our sights on the real prize. Leaving this horrid place of despair and death, going to the 2nd floor, we find a window that we could realistically jump from, but we decide to be basic bitch pansy asses about it, and nail the carpet to the window, and climb down. We're free! Finally. We can now fade into obscurity, and live a quiet, uneventful life, where nothing bad will happen.